I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. I am returning to Jeremiah. Remember, this is still the first year of the reign of Zedekiah. That's where we're at in the timeline. Lehi and his family have gone off into the wilderness, and Laban has probably already been killed by Nephi. The first two waves of Babylonian captivity have occurred, Daniel being taken 8 years earlier, and Ezekiel being taken at this time. We will get to Ezekiel in a little bit, but that's where we're at. Now, we're going to read Jeremiah chapter 20. I want to point out, I think I got this one in the wrong place, because I've already read the first 19 chapters. And I believe this is immediately after the 19th chapter. And so I think I got this in the wrong spot in the timeline. I think it still works. The chapter itself doesn't specifically state where it's at, but it does indicate that it is immediately after the previous chapter. But let's just read it. Chapter 20. Jeremiah is smitten and put in the stocks. He prophesies that all Judah shall be taken captive by Babylon. Now Pashur, the son of Immer, the priest, who was also chief governor in the house of the Lord, heard that Jeremiah prophesied these things. Then Pashur smote Jeremiah the prophet, and put him in the stocks that were in the high gate of Benjamin, which was by the house of the Lord. And it came to pass on the morrow that Pashur brought forth Jeremiah out of the stocks. Then said Jeremiah unto him, The Lord hath not called thy name Pashur, but Magor-Mizabib. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will make thee a terror to thyself and to all thy friends, and they shall fall by the sword of their enemies, and thine eyes shall behold it. And I will give all Judah into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall carry them captive into Babylon, and shall slay them with the sword. Moreover, I will deliver all the strength of this city, and all the labors thereof, and all the precious things thereof, and all the treasures of the kings of Judah will I give into the hand of their enemies, which hath spoiled them, and taken them, and carried them to Babylon. And now Pashur and all that dwell in thine house shall go into captivity, and thou shalt come to Babylon, and there thou shalt die, and shalt be buried there, thou and all thy friends, to whom thou hast prophesied lies. There's the chief governor of the house is the senior officer. He's the son of a priest, so he is himself a priest, and he is apparently the head priest, at least at this time. The name Magor-Mizabib translates to terror all around. Find that interesting. And then he puts them in stocks overnight, and then he releases them. And Jeremiah, when he releases them, says, Look, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're going into captivity, and you will die in a foreign land. And everybody who agrees with you, everybody who is your friend, everybody who supports you is going to die in a foreign land, and everything is going to be taken because of the way you are acting. You are being wicked, and you're going to suffer the penalty. I think it's fun. Jeremiah is put in stocks, but he doesn't let up. He just keeps up prophesying and telling them what God has warned. They can't shut him up. Verse 7. O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily, every one mocketh me. For since I spake, I cried out, I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me, and a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in mine heart, as a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. For I heard the defaming of many, fear on every side. Report, say they, and we will report it. All my familiars watched for my halting, saying, Peradventure he will entice, and we shall prevail against him, and we shall take our revenge on him. But the Lord is with me as a mighty, terrible one. Therefore my persecutors shall stumble, and they shall not prevail. They shall be greatly ashamed, for they shall not prosper. Their everlasting confusion shall never be forgotten. But, O Lord of hosts, that triest the righteous, and seest the reins of the heart, let me see thy vengeance on them. For unto thee have I opened my cause. Sing unto the Lord, praise ye the Lord, for he hath delivered the soul of the poor from the hand of evildoers. Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed. Cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying, A man-child is born unto thee, making him very glad. And let that man be as the cities which the Lord overthrew, and repented not, and let him hear the cry in the morning, and the shouting at noontide. Because he slew me not from the womb, or that my mother might have been my grave, and her womb to be always great with me. Wherefore came I forth out of the womb to see labor and sorrow, that my days should be consumed with shame. Now this is a great lamentation of Jeremiah. I like this. It's very reminiscent of Job. Remember, Job cursed the day he was born, saying it would be better if I had never been born, better if I had died in my mother's womb. And this is the same thing we're getting at the end here from Jeremiah, saying just, why do I have to live through such horrible times? Why am I forced to suffer all this? But going back to 7 through 9, I like that one. The Lord has deceived me, thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. So I love this. These 3 verses here are Jeremiah saying, I'm just tired. I don't want to do this anymore. People mock me. People laugh at me. I've been thrown in prison, put in the stocks. Let's just be done with it. And he says, I stopped talking. I will not make mention of him, nor speak anymore in his name. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to do anything. But then he says, but his word was in my heart as a burning fire, and I was weary with forbearing. So Jeremiah, at some point, tried to take a break. He tried to say, no, it's enough. I've been delivering your word all this time, and it's doing no good. I just don't want to do this anymore. And so he went home, kicked up his feet, tried to relax. But the Spirit of the Lord was too strong on him, and he had to get back up and start talking again. The Lord deceived him because he can't take a break, and he wants to. I kind of feel a little sorry. It reminds me a little of a quote from Brigham Young, where he once said, he went to his mission. I think he went to the Eastern States. Might have been the mission to England. But he came back to Kirtland, and I think he got one night's rest, and then came to Joseph Smith and said, okay, what do you want me to do next? And Joseph Smith said, well, nothing, take some time off, relax a little bit, spend some time with your family. And Brigham Young said that was the hardest thing he ever had to do, was to do nothing. And that's what Jeremiah is saying here. He was weary with forbearing. He got annoyed at the people and just said, forget it, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. But when he tried to stop, it was too hard to stop talking. Too hard to stop warning the people, to stop delivering the word of God. This is really where you see Jeremiah. He was a quiet, retiring kind of guy. He didn't want to be in the public sphere. He wanted to be back home reading his books. But God had other plans for him. And as much as he didn't like doing what he was doing, he knew he had to. And he was willing to. And it makes him one of the greatest prophets of the Old Testament. I love Jeremiah. Anyways, this is getting long enough, so we will leave it here. We continue in Jeremiah for several more chapters. So we'll see you there.